what I learned through those times that I was alone, I had to find me. And I heard one of our artists say, I know you may be going through something, but it's going to get better. But what I need you to realize, it's not going to get better until you work on you. That's what I had to realize. Once I started my meditation, once I started my journaling, once I started reading and feeding my mind, changing my mind, my life started to change.
Exactly.
Right? So I don't know what it is that you do. I don't know what your creativity, I don't know what you were sent here to do, but you do. And if you don't, I suggest you find it. I suggest you find it. And the way that you're going to do that is consistent learning. Consistent learning. Sitting with those emotions that you don't want to process. Processing those old traumas that your parents put on you. There's no shame on them. But we all go through things, right?
Welcome to Accepted Addictions with pDubs. Get ready to immerse yourself in a podcast that's open to people of all stripes and persuasions. Accepted Addictions is not just a podcast, it's a movement. We go over societal norms that are considered acceptable, but are often toxic to our growth, development, and even behavior. This is a platform where we explore the multifaceted identities within ourselves, recognizing that some versions have it all figured out, while others lean into that negativity. This is Accepted Addictions, where every version of you, every evolution of you, is not just embraced, but celebrated. So sit back, open your ears, grab a drink. You know I'll be sipping on my kombucha and prepare for an engaging journey.
Why everything that's supposed to be bad make me feel so good? Everything they told me not to do was exactly what I would. Man, I tried to stop, man. I tried the best I could. What's your addiction?
Before you begin into today's episode, I have to talk about this new season of Reasonable Doubt on Hulu. I literally just finished episode 4 right before recording, so I had to share. For any of my new listeners, I need y'all to know this. Put your ears on and literally listen when you hear this. I am an avid cinephile and pop culture connoisseur. From the wise words of Issa Rae, did you hear me? I'm an avid cinephile and pop culture connoisseur. And if you don't know what that means, it means I love movies, books, music, and art. That's my real addiction. Literally every episode I record for y'all, I have a playlist attached to it. Every episode I record for y'all, I have a book excerpt, a movie excerpt, a song excerpt to go right along with the addiction. I really love this shit, okay? So when I'm watching Reasonable Doubt right now, I'm just in complete awe, okay? From the actors to the chemistry to the dialogue. Let me not even get started on the actors. Actually, let me give you a little excerpt on the actors, okay? The main character, Jax, beautiful. Chef's kiss, beautiful woman. Her confidence, her oh my God, the way she carries herself, the way she speaks, the mystique she has. She's alluring. She's hot. Then her husband. What? Her and her husband's relationship is crazy. Her husband is this guy. His name is McKinley Freeman. I've actually seen him in something else called Our Kind of People. It's another Hulu show. Right now it's on Tubi for free, but it's a really good show. It's very short. I think it got canceled, but I loved it. It's a black show. It is a black show, just like Reasonable Doubt. And I love it because it's black actors it's all black cast. But I'm missing my point. McKinley Freeman, mwah, sexy ass man, okay? This is the second thing I've seen him in. Jax, that main character, I'm sorry I don't know your name as an actress, but she is just as amazing. This is my first time ever seeing her in anything. But that's not why we're here today. What really got me this season, that really got me to record this for this episode, is this season's soundtrack. We're on season 3 and they haven't stopped. Season 3, episode 4, and they have not skipped a beat, okay? This season took me back to college. You know, those days when I was discovering Insecure, you know, watching it for the first time and just taking in the way the music became part of the story. I remember the first time I heard SZA, that SZA song, like that. But let me not get into that. Can't think of the words. But it wasn't a song that's on SZA's albums. It's only for Insecure. But the first time me and my best friend heard it, I remember we looked at each other like, wait, this isn't on Control. This is not on SoundCloud. What's this? And it was like a beautiful, magical moment. But that's not why we're here. Actually, fun fact, the other day I did just find out that Solange played a big role, a major hand in orchestrating the Insecure soundtrack, which makes so much more sense if you ever listen to it. Like, if you haven't, go listen to it because the soundtracks are on Apple Music and on Spotify. Or just go rewatch the show and see how seamless and sequential she was when it came to picking these songs. Like, ugh. So me finding that out, that Solange plays such a big hand in it, and me do the same research for Reasonable Doubt, I was like, okay, who were the geniuses behind the music for this amazing show? And I found out that it wasn't Solange. It was somebody by the name of Adrian Young and Ali Shaheed Muhammad. And you might know them from Luke Cage or even The Equalizer. I honestly didn't pay enough attention to both of those shows and their soundtracks. But after looking them up, I was like, okay, I definitely want to know how they made their start. It made me think. It made me stop, really made me stop and think and say to myself, how do you even land a job like that? To be trusted as the tastemaker who literally sets the tone of a show. I think that's the kind of, I don't even think, I know that's the kind of creative trust and collaboration that I dream about. One day being able to make and create the soundtracks for my favorite TV shows and movies, literally creating a playlist for the moment when they're going under the bridge and it's a really sad moment that just happened, or a thing that was just very joyful. And I have the perfect song for that moment. Because I could watch a show and I'm like, I wish they would have played this, or I wish they would have played that. Or if the instrumental of this was on, this would solidify a show. It's crazy the way some people's minds work. And I bet that's how it was for, Adrian Ali. I really do wonder if Adrian and Ali ever expected to be where they are now. That word expectation is where we're headed in today's conversation with JujuEmpowerz. So let's get into that. I'm not going to hold you all too much. But go check out Reasonable Doubt, and hopefully one day, fingers crossed, I'm the girl that will be reviewing and making soundtracks for these amazing shows that I love oh so much. But here we go, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Accepted Addictions with pDubs. We just played that amazing excerpt from episode 3 of Accepted Addictions. That episode actually featured JujuEmpowerz, and it was just him speaking about this clip that we shared not too long ago. Actually, it was long ago. It was December 31st of 2023, almost 2 years ago. But here we are, back in this space, reflecting, growing, and transforming. And it's just wild to think about how much time has passed, but it's even crazier to reflect on all the growth we've come into since then. But we're so happy to have Juju here, Juju Beans, a part of this conversation today. So I want to start with you giving more of a spiel and understanding about that consistent learning that you said and brought up, and even you giving a spiel of who you are today, because that was 2 years ago. So who is Juju today, and who are we allowing to this conversation that we're bringing into Excitations?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited, and it's mind-blowing that it's been 2 years. Time truly does fly when you're having fun. And to the world, my name is JujuEmpowerz. I'm the same person I was 2 years ago to the core. I'm doing different things, but who I am currently, I am a DJ. I'm a athletic youth coach. I'm an empowerment leader. I'm a man of God, a brother, a son, a boyfriend. And ultimately, to wrap it all up with a pretty bow, I'm a creator, just working every day to live out my dream instead of just dreaming my dreams. I strive every day to live out my dreams. And right now, my dreams are to DJ and empower the world through music, release YouTube mixes, go to different venues, host different shows, be a part of different shows and events. So that's been the bulk of my work is DJing. And then the other bulk of my work has been coaching girls basketball, volleyball, and track year round.
Wow.
So giving back the gift of sports and wisdom, life wisdom through sports, because that's really what helped mold who I am today as a young adult was the power of mentorship through sports. So I thought it was only right to pay that forward, especially with the knowledge and wisdom that I have about life and sports. So that's me in a nutshell. That's me in a nutshell.
Well, welcome back. We're happy to have you on, and I definitely wanted to dive into who you are and how it's been, because honestly, the episode is about expectations, and the truth is, the expectations we have of ourselves, of others, of life, they honestly shape how we move. And I love that you unintentionally, without even thinking, you brought in that consistent learning, whether it be for yourself or others. That's what you're consistently doing. And we talked a lot about in our previous episode, sometimes we hold on to something, we hold on to it so tight, the more it slips away. And I really want to just see what that means for you. You know, like sometimes we're just gripping onto people, situations, or even versions of ourselves that no longer serve us. So today I really just want to see where you are, not just when it comes to expectations, the idea of not just the ones we place on the world, but the one we place on ourselves. So I do want to dive a little deeper into that, especially when you said in the earlier clip that we're all on our own journey, and that you had to take some time alone to really find you. So where were you in your journey, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? And how has your perspective changed since then? Because you did say you had to kind of isolate in order to have that understanding for your family, for your parents, for the people around you.
Right. So for me, just to give the people context, I grew up an athlete. I've been playing basketball since second grade, and I really started to take it to a whole competitive level in fifth grade. And when I was first and second grade, I had the goal and dream, like many young people do, of making it to the NBA, making it to the NFL. And that was probably one of the first biggest expectations that I had of myself. And through that quest and through that journey, trying to seek that out, I took that really serious because I'm the type of person, I say this all the time, I'm obsessive with whatever I do. And that obsession comes from the passion that I have for the things that I do. So,
you're Gemini.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a Gemini. And being that passionate for basketball, it really put me on a path of demanding excellence from myself so I could be the best basketball player I could be, so I could be a recruitable college basketball player, so I could be a good student athlete. My parents and coaches didn't have to worry about me on or off the court. So the expectation for me as a basketball player was be the best basketball player, be the best student, and then be a good person on and off the court. And that was being ingrained into me. And through that journey and being so obsessive, the pros was I was becoming a really good person and my character was showing. I was getting a lot of accolades in basketball, had really good grades. But on the flip side of that, towards the back end of my career, I started to go into identity crisis because as I got closer and closer to that NBA dream, it started to seem more and more unrealistic because of my belief system and because of the path that I was on, where it wasn't as glamorous and as straight and narrow as I desired my path to be. So when I was 19, or actually when I was 18, I went to my first college, Lewis and Clark, and I was a starting point guard there. I ended up breaking my foot. I ended up getting unenrolled as a student and taken off the basketball team all in 1 year. And just to throw in and add the little sprinkles on top, I was living in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, compared to Phoenix, Arizona, where Portland is super gloomy. I didn't believe people when they were talking about seasonal depression and all those different things. I was like, no, I'm too happy for that. But not seeing the sun on top of all of these different life and basketball things going on in my life, so really dipped into a very negative and pessimistic way of thinking where I would sleep a majority of the day, miss my classes, not go to basketball practice. Uh, I wouldn't even go to the cafeteria to go eat. I would just eat toaster strudels, play some video games, and then go back to bed. So put myself in this loop of being the victim of my circumstance compared to being a victor where it's like, all right, these tough things are happening. What can I make of it? So I was playing that victim for a few months, and then what do you know? COVID ends up striking and it puts a whole pause on the whole world. And although that was a major world crisis, it was one of the best things that happened to me because it helped me understand I had a fear of being alone, and the only value that I had attached to myself and to my character was pertaining basketball. So I was holding myself to the expectation that I was of excellence because of basketball, not because I was capable, not because I thought I was really smart, not because I thought I was worthy of accomplishing that goal, but because it was almost coming from a scarce place where it's like, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be anything to the world, or my parents aren't going to love me. My friends aren't going to see me. I won't be popular. And as soon as COVID hit and I couldn't play basketball for the first time since second grade, it really made me start to slow down and reflect. And that was when TikTok was first really, really booming, and everybody was posting little things like how to become an entrepreneur, how to make money during COVID, how to make money online. And one day I was playing video games and I just hopped off the video game and hopped on my laptop. It was like how to make money online, how to become an entrepreneur, how to become a millionaire. Just typed in all these different things to Google, and that's me on my whole new path. And it really opened up a new set of expectations for myself where I started to see I was good at basketball, and basketball was what I do, not who I am. And as soon as I understood we aren't what we do. What we do is what we do, and who we are is how we do the things that we do. Then that's what gave me the confidence to, in my last year and a half of college basketball, I started my first ever company called Millionaire Map Club. And I designed the business to be business incubator where I wanted to help people grow their business from ground up. And that goes that all came from me being a basketball player my whole life, like being a team player. So I wanted to see other people succeed. So of course, my first ever legit business was let's help other people grow their business. So it was a mind frame when I was 18, 19. I was really a victim of my life. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. To now, once I hit that 19-year-old mark and I started my entrepreneurship journey, I started diving into my spirituality even deeper. I started diving into self-development. I started eating healthier. I went pescatarian, which has now led to me being vegetarian for 3 years. So it just, being in that low place, being that victim, helped me realize once again that I'm not what I do. I am who I am. And what makes me, the expectation I hold myself to is I'm a person that is passionate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person that's valuable. I'm a person that helps other people win. And I'm a fun loving person. So now living that expectation out, it looks like me going after whatever I desire with that same hunger and that same discipline as my.
Wow. Dude, thank you for sharing that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I did not to be who you are today, because I've only known you for a couple years now. It's amazing to know your journey, because you would never expect that. You were such a bright, inspiring person. So for you to say you came from, having seasonal depression at such a young age, having such a obsessive personality, being such a self-determined person, to knowing that you had an identity crisis because of that belief system you once had for yourself, that's really important to reflect on. And it's alarming. It's alarming because a lot of people don't deal with that fear they have when it comes to being alone. But I know that you mentioned earlier that you kind of had to turn your game off. It was like a switch for you one day. You had to just turn that game off. And I know you mentioned earlier that, not even earlier, in the scene I told you before, that you said a lot about honing into yourself, meditation, journaling, feeding your mind. It's clear you've done a lot of inner changes since that last conversation or last viewpoint I had of you in that trajectory. But how do you feel, or what do you feel people miss when they think about their own personal growth or personal development? What do you think they overlook when it comes to that transformation? Because it sounds like you've done it, honestly. So what would you say people miss in trying to have that for themselves?
I would say for the very ambitious and monetary focused people like myself, like I've always grown up wanting a luxurious lifestyle. And I know for me, what I missed before I started this self development journey, I feel like a lot of people think the value comes from what you get
Mm-hmm.
compared to the value that you put in and the value that comes from you being able to put into yourself and to your craft. I think a lot of the times, um, especially for the people that live in America, we're so instantly gratified and we're so capitalistic where anything that we want, we go out and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And we go out and get it really fast. So I think what a lot of people are missing, and this is what meditation, journaling, and just learning different thought processes has helped me understand the true value comes from within,
Mm-hmm.
and those physical things that you get to experience, such as your dream car, your dream house, a relationship, making a bunch of money, your business growing, your podcast booming, being on big stages, selling out events, whatever it is that people want to experience in person. A lot of people truly do miss. I feel like people know, but people miss the fact that the success and accomplishment of those truly does come from the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be successful, you can be accomplished, you can be valuable long before you have all of the monetary things, before you have all of the physical things, before you have all the luxurious things. And that's when my life really started to materialize and actualize the way that I seen it in my journal was once I really consistently kept stepping into that feeling of being abundant, that feeling of being uh, peaceful, like the feeling of I don't have to be worried, the feeling of me being here, the feeling of me being loved. before I had the relationship, before I had the nice car, before I had the pay consistently, like genuinely having that faith and that feeling and that faith and that energy is what a lot of people are missing because it's so easy to not feel that accomplishment or feel that value until that thing is right in front of your face or until it's right in your hands or that person that loves you is saying it or that person that was your dream person is kissing you on the cheek. But the true trick, as crazy and taboo, woo-woo magic as it sounds, it truly comes from the feeling that people withhold. And the last thing that I really think most of the world is missing is a truly controlled self-image. And I don't think people lack self-image. I think people lack a truly controlled self-image. Prime example, to use myself again, I wasn't controlling my narrative at a certain point when I was a basketball player, where I built myself a box of being a basketball player. Then I kept myself in that box by allowing people to only validate and see me as a basketball player. What most people didn't know while I was a basketball player, I had a sports blog. I would shoot photography with my grandma. I planned a bunch of events for the student government in high school, even though I wasn't on student government. I was the MC for a school assembly with 1,800 kids there. So all of the things that I'm doing now seem like a surprise to a lot of people.
And you've been doing it.
They were little micro sneak peeks and little things that I was diving into when I was young while I was in this boxed in self-image. So that's something that I really try to, I won't say try, that I really live out and inspire people to live out is like, you're the creator and the creation.
Absolutely.
And we're all multifaceted beings. And a lot of the times, as you're young, people, just focus on this one thing, get really good at it. And once you master it, then move on. That's cool and all. And it works for some people. But with where we are with technology, with where we are with internet and all those different things, all the different things that we have handy to us as humans, that's not realistic anymore.
It's not.
Especially as if we're talking about like creative entrepreneurs. If you're selling t-shirts, but you have no knowledge in marketing, but you're just a designer, and you want to be a one-man show, you're not going to sell as much as that person that can design a t-shirt and put together a marketing scheme, but also has the ability to talk to people, but also has the ability to make things look aesthetic so they can do a pop-up shop. So I think people really need to step into a controlled by themselves version of their self-image and really see themselves as infinite, see themselves as limitless, and then they'll start to see the different things that they'll be able to bring into the world.
I think I love the very last controlling the narrative part that you said, because that really takes, again, sitting with your own emotions that you don't want to process. Because a lot of the outside world, a lot of the outside thinking as far as like putting yourself in a box comes with representation making you feel like you have to be this one person. When that's a movie, that's a show, that's whatever that person is deciding to put out. Reality is, we are multi-dimensional people. And a lot of times people don't start things that they want to do because they feel like people are looking at them a certain way, or they have to be expected to, okay, I've always been an artist. Now I want to make music. Dang, people are going to be like, why do you want to make music? That's random. It's not random because it's always been in you. And if it's genuine and authentic, people are going to radiate and you're going to find your tribe in that. So I want to talk about people in our lives, especially with you saying especially when you said like a person could want to have a brand, right? And they don't put that much into it, but want more out of it when it comes to the value that they put in. And I think that goes back to a lot of what we expect out of others when it comes to partnerships, friendships, family. We want people to fulfill these certain roles, these certain needs, but it's like, what have we done for ourselves, right? In order to get these things. We want all of the, I just think that it's so big because like this conversation expectations happened for me. When I had this whole episode came 2 years ago during the Christmas season, when I just moved here, I was feeling lonely and I was just mad that I didn't have my family or friends with me. Not even mad, just sulking. But I quickly had to snap myself out of it because I was like, hey, what are you doing? You have a bunch of people around you that are willing to connect, but it comes down to my consistency. It comes down to me having that vulnerability and using it as a strength. So I would say, like, are there expectations you had to let go of when it comes to what you expect from the people around you? And what have you learned about those boundaries or connections along the way?
Man, that's such a good question.
Think about it if you want, because
it's such a good question. And for me, some things that came to me while you're asking the question, the quote came to me a few weeks ago because I actually struggle with this actively. This is something I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote goes, give yourself to the world, but not to the point where you can't give yourself to yourself.
Wait, say it again. Say it again, because that was good.
Give yourself to the world, but not to the point that you can't give yourself to yourself. And I feel like the example that you gave where somebody was doing one thing and then all of a sudden they want to make music and the rest of the world is looking at them crazy.
What
we tend to do as humans is we try to make everybody else around us comfortable.
Right.
And we know that since most people aren't making change and taking the initiative on change makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yes.
So a lot of the times we don't actually fear the judgment of somebody not liking our creation or not supporting our creation. We a lot of the times don't show our true selves to the world because we don't want to make other people uncomfortable. Because by us tapping into that new version of ourselves that we're called into, that's going to take perspective shift from the world on how they view us. And that takes more energy and effort. And that's what a lot of humans don't want to give is more energy and effort. But everybody, I love this. I love this thought process that a lot of people are familiar with, that everybody is their own main character in their story.
Yeah.
And as soon as people really like understand that, and not only understand that, walk in that, then that's when you really become liberated and free.
Absolutely.
Because,
yes.
Yeah, and I know for me, I love my family. I'm so blessed. I wouldn't trade my deck of cards for anything. My family has been so supportive since the day that I've had any goal or dream. And back to the basketball stories. One of my big reasons I loved basketball and contribution to all of those different things that I talked about earlier. One thing that I really loved about basketball, I come from divorced parents, and I come from the type of divorced parents that like they wouldn't even talk.
Wow.
Like it was like, tell your mom this, tell your dad this, but the only time that I would see everybody in a room. So my mom and my sisters and my dad, see all of us in a room being civil was at one of my basketball games. Exactly. It was at one of my basketball games.
Damn.
And once I went to college and I was in Oregon, it's not like they're going to fly out every Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday to come see my game. Like, and it's not like I know if they're watching the live stream or not. But once I got to college and they couldn't support physically as the way that they did before.
You felt it.
It made me realize, like, dang, if I'm doing this for them, then I can only take it so far. So what I started to realize is I carried that. I didn't realize that until recently, because I carried that into my entrepreneurship. So when I would host workshops, I would host fashion shows, dance shows, DJ sets, and all those different things. And I would, my sisters, basically, like, I don't have official employees yet, but all of my family practically works for me. So my sister Jessica, she's really good at designing. So a lot of the Good Juju Nation merch, she print and pressed herself.
Wow.
My sister Stephanie is really good at organization. So all of the details and sporadic thoughts that I get, she'll tie them all up with a pretty bow and make the presentation that we need for the menu, or she'll manage all of the different creatives that are a part of the project. So it was a really hands-on, family-oriented thing. But once again, since they weren't official employees and it wasn't like they were making a living off of it, sometimes when they had to prioritize their own life, their own goals, their own dreams, their own relationships, and they couldn't be at the events, and say I had this experience happen. One time I had one of my biggest events. It was like 590 people.
Wow.
And my mom and sisters didn't get to come. Well, actually, my mom and sister and dad didn't get to come. My sister Stephanie was there. And I remember going home butthurt, like, man, like, that was cool and all. Like, 590 people was cool, but my sister, mom, and dad didn't come.
Right. Oof. You hit it.
And it felt like a loss to me because I had this expectation. Well, like, if I was you and I had this really cool son or brother, I would literally go to everything.
Right.
Me.
Right.
And one day I really realized through a conversation with my girlfriend, she was like, just because people aren't there doesn't mean that they don't support. And just because you want something for somebody else, or you want to give something to somebody else, doesn't mean that they're in the space, to receive that, to value that. And if you're so fixated and predicated on, all right, this is only successful if other people think it's successful, if this podcast is only successful if I get this many viewers, my DJ shows are only successful if I get this many people, where all of that is cool, that validation. I'm not gonna be one to act like I don't like validation still. Right. I do like validation here and there, but once I understood that self-validation is the most valuable.
Being your first point of contact, yes.
Yeah, like, once you realize that, then everything, like, you can brush off a hateful comment. So if you really, so I'll give the DJ example. If I really liked my DJ set and somebody came up to me and was like, music was trash, if I didn't value what I did myself, then I'd go home like, hey, well, let me just go to the top 100 charts so you won't find my music trash.
Right.
Compared to me understanding why I played every single song, the reason I mixed each song with this song, or I saw this person walk by, so I thought they would like this, or my friend that makes music came to the show, so I threw their song in. So it wasn't something that a lot of people are familiar with, but I knew the intention behind what I was doing. I knew the energy that I was putting into what I was doing. So all of that, I can go home with my ducks in a row and be proud of myself. Like, I know I did my best. I had a positive intention. It felt good. Not everybody likes it. That's okay. The people that did get from it, that's amazing. But did I rock with it? I did. Okay.
Absolutely.
Did I rock with it? I didn't. Okay. Why didn't you? And break things down like that. So that's to go back to what we were talking about earlier. That's really how you control your narrative, and you release the expectations of other people within this world. Because no matter what you do, we're in the human business, and no matter how empathetic you are, how compassionate you are, if you're a psychic, a mind reader, anything like that, it don't matter how psychological you are. You'll never know what the next person is genuinely thinking. Like you'll never know. You'll never be able to physically control somebody. Like at the end of the day, that's not how this human design works. But you can control yourself. You can influence yourself, which can lead to influence into the world. So to speak on the expectations within those relationships, I'm not a person that's like, oh, don't have any expectations. There's no expectations of people, so you're not disappointed. I don't like that, because to me that sounds like no standard.
Right.
I do think it's important, especially with family and friends and co-workers and co-creatives and whoever else you work with, have your bottom lines. And your bottom lines are, those are the baseline things that I need from a relationship. So say you are a DJ, or say you are a podcast host like yourself, say you, whatever it is that you do, and you're in a relationship, or you have a good relationship with your parents or your siblings, and you do really strongly desire for them to be at every one of your shows. Voice that, hold them to that, but then also give grace when that isn't met. Because if it isn't met over and over and over and over, and there's a particular reason, then that's when you get to start making decisions out of logic and not out of your feelings being hurt, or you being jealous of the other person, or you being upset because you don't feel prioritized. But if you have those bottom lines, like, hey, this is what I'm expecting while we're in this relationship, and this is what I'm going to give so I can receive that expectation, and this is the accountability I'm going to provide so you can uphold that expectation, then that's when you're going to start to get more from your family, friends, and people that you desire to support you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, holding yourself to a high expectation is the most important thing, I think.
Yes.
Because you're the person that can control your narrative. You're the person that can control your thoughts, your actions, your feelings, your beliefs, all of those different things. And a lot of people mistake grace for complacency.
Yes.
Grace is like, hey, I'm human. Something influenced me. Let me get back on the horse. Let me get back on this habit. Let me cut this thing back out of my life. Let me start thinking like this again. Complacency is being like, oh, well, it is what it is. At least I tried.
Right.
It doesn't happen for people like me. I mean,
What was me?
The rest of the world doesn't do it. So.
That was heavy. I love that, Juju. I especially love the main point as far as like, for everybody, I feel like the biggest takeaway was upholding those bottom lines, you know, When it comes to expectation, honestly, it comes to knowing who you're dealing with, right? Like, a lot of times we are expecting ourselves out of people. This is a great conversation, and I am so grateful to have you on the show again. You know, we talked a lot about your journey not being linear. You went from being a collegiate basketball player, impactful speaker, community builder, and now even added more to the resume as far as being a DJ and having that energy brought to the world. So I've seen your growth firsthand, and today I really am happy to be able to give you that space to reflect on that journey.
Yes, thank you. No, this was dope to follow up on our conversation. And just like the last little thing I want to leave people with, use this interview as a prime example. Your thoughts create your reality, and you attract what you think about. It's actually crazy because at the top of the year, I was writing down some of my desires for this new year, and I constantly do that week by week, month by month. And something that I wanted to dive into deeper again this year was getting interviewed and sharing my thought processes. And so I'm truly grateful to have this opportunity and hop on this interview. And I use that example as you can really attract what it is that you desire. Yes. But with all of that being said, the fastest way to have what you want to have is be the person that has those things. Mm-hmm. And that's where the real work comes in. You can go work 14-hour days. You can go work 16-hour days. You can go not sleep. You can work out all you want to lose weight. But if you're not that person that has that specific thing that you desire, then you're never going to have that experience within this life. So I encourage and inspire people to become the person of their dreams, and then you'll start to live out your dreams every single day. Fail, but when you do start to live out your dreams, give the formula to the next person, because we all need to be inspired, and we all were called to greatness. So I appreciate you, Dub, for having me on and staying persistent with your goal and dream. I love your show. I love the combination of the music and the thought. So make sure everybody shares this episode. Put it on Instagram. Send it in your group chats. Listen to it 3, 4, 5 times. And keep happening with pDubs movement, because she's doing amazing things.
We can't expect change. You got to be that change. And I appreciate you for coming to the show today. So we're out. So thank you so much, Juju.
I appreciate you.
I'm going to leave y'all with that. Maybe this episode was biased. Maybe you didn't agree, but let me know what you think. Again, I appreciate all of you for dropping in and taking the time to listen in on another Accept Addiction. And I appreciate you all for taking the time again, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, disagree. I want to be challenged. pDubs loves this. pDubs loves y'all. Thank you all for joining me today. To the lives we lead, to the moments we make, to the dreams we wish, and to the fucked up shit we can't erase. Cheers to us. Catch pDubs next time on Accepted Addictions. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and I'll see you all next week.
Welcome to Accepted Addictions with pDubs. Get ready to immerse yourself in a podcast that's open to people of all stripes and persuasions. Accepted Addictions is not just a podcast, it's a movement. We go over societal norms that are considered acceptable, but are often toxic to our growth, development, and even behavior. This is a platform where we explore the multifaceted identities within ourselves, recognizing that some versions have it all figured out, while others lean into that negativity. This is Accepted Addictions, where every version of you, every evolution of you, is not just embraced, but celebrated. So sit back, open your ears, grab a drink, You know I'll be sipping on my kombucha and prepare for an engaging journey.
Well, everything that's supposed to be bad make me feel so good. Everything they told me not to do is exactly what I would. Man, I tried to stop, man, I tried the best I could, but they make me mad. What your addiction is?
Accepted Addictions with pDubs.